All right. While we're waiting for any last minute attendees to show up, we're going to keep this on the informal side. And part of the point of this little town hall is to give everybody a chance to ask questions about things that you're wondering about or concerned about. So, definitely as we go through things, if you have questions, go ahead and type them into the chat window as they come up so we can answer them as we go along. All right. Let's go ahead and get started, and we'll see who joins us along the way. So for everyone here, thanks for coming out. This is just a really an online information and Q&A session for current majors. Since the beginning of this semester is really different than any other time we've had before. And we wanted to try to do something to reach out to everybody and make sure that people were able to, ask some of the questions they might have about how the semester is going to run. I'm Steve Edwards. I'm the Associate Department Head for Undergraduate Studies in the Department of Computer Science. And I'll be your MC for tonight and answering as many of the questions as I can. And like I said, this semester is a little different. It's not the usual by any stretch of the imagination. So we put this little event together to really give you some information about what to expect from the department, what to expect in classes, what to expect on campus, but really also to give you an opportunity to ask any questions you have. We're also going to try to give you some update on some news within the department, some things you can look forward to seeing this year in terms of positive changes that we want to let everybody know about. And like I said, after some folks started arriving, as I go along, feel free to type your questions into the chat window so that we can try to answer them as we go. And this is going to be a relatively informal give and take discussion about this, about really whatever you all want to know about. So definitely ask your questions. So to get us started, we're going to have I asked Cal Ribbons, our department head, to be here. I'm going to give him a chance to say a few words just to say hello to the group and anything he has to say. Cal, do you want to take it away?
Sure, I'd be glad to do that. Thanks a lot, Steve. And thanks for those of you who have joined tonight. I'm glad we could do this. Obviously, it's going to be a semester and perhaps a whole year of unusual things, and this is one of them. But I did want to say welcome back or welcome. And for some of you, this may be your first sort of official thing you've done as a computer science major. We had a record intake of new students in May, and we had another nice group of students join just like this week, you may have heard. So a special welcome to those who have just declared the computer science major. Congratulations to you for joining the program. I wanted to just say a couple of quick things. One is that I always welcome new students, especially with an encouragement to see themselves as stakeholders of this community. Stakeholder is a fancy word that just means that you're part of the deal. You're part of how we succeed, and we succeed together as we do what we need to do, but also as you contribute your energy and your creativity and your persistence and your sort of academic stubbornness to figure stuff out and to learn. And computer scientists, I think, are famous for that, for being pretty agile and pretty creative, and we've seen that like crazy in the last 6 months. So that's the second thing I wanted to say, is just thank you to those of you who have helped us navigate these waters and will continue to help us navigate these waters for the months ahead. I'm not going to spin it and say it's going to be easy, right? There's going to be challenges. We're already seeing that. But I think the quality and the value of a CS education from Virginia Tech is still extremely high. Our field is still super hot and interesting and impactful and offers great opportunity. Companies are still interested in hiring you all. We're hearing good things from them. Our faculty has really rallied to doing what they need to do to make sure we still offer a really good quality education. And then the last thing I'll say, and Steve may allude to some of this too, and in fact give some details, but we're in a time of real growth in the department, not just in enrollment, but in hiring and in space. And Steve, are you going to say a little more about the Torgerson opportunity soon?
Yes, I did want to mention that.
So I'll defer that to you. But the big picture is that over the next few years, starting in a few months, we're going to gain a lot of space on campus, some more space in Torgerson, significant new space in a building where Five Guys used to be. Sorry if you're a big Five Guys fan and you came back and you saw a big pile of rubble, but they're building a big new building there next to the North End Center, and we're going to have a lot of space in that building coming online in a couple of years, and then a new building over by the Virginia Tech Inn that's going to break ground in November or December. So a lot of new space, exciting time for our department, and also a lot of hiring. So this fall we have 8 new faculty members that joined. We had 4 left after last year, so that's obviously disappointing. The job market is super hot for professors as it is for computer scientists and software engineers as well. So we were sad to say goodbye to 4 folks who went on to other places. But we hired 8 new professors that are joining this semester. And then we have 2 more that are coming starting in January. So obviously we need lots of faculty. You know that we have classes that are full and overfull. And so despite the hiring freeze in the state and at the university, we got permission to continue to hire pretty much on the pace we were on. And so we look forward to doing more hiring this year as well. So watch out for, follow us on Twitter and so on, and other social media outlets so you can see what's going on and get the latest from the department. Again, thank you for joining and welcome.
All right, thanks very much, Cal. And so the next item that I have actually is something that people might see around campus, and this is our community wellness commitment. And I just wanted to remind everybody, you might be seeing this posted in buildings. You'll probably see it online. You might see it in mailings that come from the president or the provost. Make sure you're aware of it. In effect, what this says is, as you can see, as members of the community, we pledge to care for the health and well-being of others by personally adopting our community wellness commitment. And it goes through a number of things that we all promise to do for each other to keep each other safe, including supporting each other, wearing face coverings in public areas, practicing physical distancing, practicing good hygiene, staying home when we feel sick, going to the doctor when we believe we're sick or have been exposed, all of those things. So I want to make sure that everybody is aware of that and knows that that's something we're really embracing for this fall semester, and that we hope that all of our students, we really need all of you to know that we depend on you helping each other to keep us from having to essentially shift the university back to completely online delivery this semester. So to the extent that we can make the best of this semester, that's great, but we really depend on everyone participating to do that. So I just wanted to remind people of that. And I am in the chat window. I went ahead and posted the URL if you would like to look at the full community wellness commitment online. All right. So following that, I got a few information items, and like I said, feel free to ask questions in the chat window as we go along, as I go through these. The first one is, I want to let everybody know that this semester especially, make sure that you take a look at your course syllabus, and obviously the normal things that you look for every semester you want to pay attention to. But there might be additional things this semester because of the COVID-19 situation that you want to pay particular attention to. For example, if you are in a class that has in-person class meetings or a hybrid format class, there may be a statement about expectations for your class regarding face coverings and practices regarding maintaining health and wellness. Make sure you read that, make sure you understand what it says. Up on the screen here, I put a common, this is a recommended statement that may appear in many syllabi. The recommendation comes from the provost's office. And this particular recommendation, which you might find quite common across a lot of courses in many departments that include face-to-face class meetings, requires that you wear a face covering during class, including when you enter and exit the classroom, that you maintain designated distancing guidelines, which typically means 6 feet or more between individuals at all times in all classrooms, as well as in the hallways when you're transiting between classes. And some rooms with multiple doors may have the doors signed for entry and exit with specific doorways marked for entry, other doorways marked for exit, and you need to follow those. So make sure that you read your course syllabi for any classes that are doing face-to-face class meetings to see what's expected there. Also, make sure that in your course syllabus that you understand the attendance expectations that your instructor has laid out. Whether you're taking an in-person course where many of the class meetings might be in a physical classroom, whether it's a hybrid course where you might be in the classroom sometimes, but doing online activities other times, or even in a purely online class where there might be synchronous meetings where you're expected to all be online at the same time for some class activities or class meetings. You want to make sure you understand when you need to be present online or physically, and what basically the rules of operation are for that particular course. Read the syllabus carefully. The expectations do vary by course and by instructor, and you want to make sure you understand what your instructor expects. If you're in class with group projects, think about these kinds of things when you're working outside of class with your project group. Be mindful of our community wellness commitment. Think about how you can work safely together. We strongly encourage students, if you are working in project groups outside of class, to use the same kind of perspective that you would use in the classroom, which is wearing face coverings, maintaining a minimum 6-foot distance, minimizing the exchange of physical objects like paper, pens, those sorts of things, to minimize risks of transmission. Think about how you're going to work together with your teammates, and make sure you communicate with your teammates so you're all on the same page about what you expect, because we really do depend on you to keep each other safe. In that vein, for TAs, all of our TA office hours this fall semester are going to be completely online. That's going to be the same as the second half of the spring semester. There will not be any on-campus or in-person meetings between students and TAs. Most TA office hours are probably going to be held using Zoom, and many of you already have experience doing that or have experience sharing your screens on Zoom, like I'm doing right now, which is a great way to share your project code or your assignment if you have a question about the work that you're doing, those sorts of things. It's probably the best way for TAs to be able to look up close and personal and talk with you in a way that you can easily hear them when you're meeting with them one-on-one, if you do that online through Zoom, rather than trying to do it face-to-face when you would have to be 6 feet apart and both wearing face coverings. It would be, that poses significant obstacles to, showing them your screen, letting them walk through your code with you, letting them give you feedback on a project report or something like that. That's going to be a lot easier to do online than with social distancing. So if office hours are not working for you, make sure you communicate with your instructor. And probably you should expect that most or possibly even all of the faculty office hours for the courses that you have are going to be conducted the same way. Faculty members are not required to have their office hours all online, but a large majority do plan to conduct their office hours that way. So that may be the case in your class. Your faculty members should discuss that when they go over their syllabus content in the first week of classes. So be prepared for that. In addition to TAs, our advising staff, they are here, they're around the entire semester, but all advising meetings for our undergraduates are also going to be online. You still need an appointment. You still sign up for appointments the same way that you did in the spring. It's just that you'll meet online in their Zoom meeting room instead of face-to-face in their office. So there won't be any on-campus or in-person meetings with advisors You probably should expect that if you have office appointments in other offices on campus with other individuals, that many of them may likely work the same. That is, that many office appointments may be online. Also, you probably want to check in with your advisors, not during the first week of classes, obviously, so many things are going on then with people trying to get their schedules straight. But after the semester gets going, maybe after Labor Day, once we get into September, it'd be great to check in with your advisor on your progress to degree or your plans for courses in upcoming semesters. They're a great resource, and remember, when they give you suggestions or advice, they're trying to help you out. But definitely, especially if you're a little bit uncertain about what you're going to be able to add to your schedule next week, or I'm sorry, next semester, or what options there might be to fill an elective slot, they're a great resource for that. So definitely think about checking in with them. That, of course, goes not just for this semester, but really for any semester. Force ad requests, and I did get a question about this in chat about classes that are full. Yes, class seats do continue to be tight in many of our courses. I want to make sure that all of our majors know the best tactics that they can use to make sure they get in the courses that they would like to take. And first and foremost, it is extremely helpful for you to make sure that you have a plan up front and act early to get into your classes. And again, that's one of the things, if you check in with your advisor, that they can help you with in terms of planning what courses you would like to take in upcoming semesters. One of the reasons why is because we've kind of stacked the deck in favor of our majors. Our majors have an advantage during course requests, and our majors have an advantage at the start of the drop ad period. So you want to make sure that you're trying to get into courses early so you can take advantage of what we've done to try to make sure majors get into courses first, right? If you wait, for example, if you're trying to get in a course now that you were not trying to get into back in May or back during course requests in the spring, it's going to be much harder to get in because all of the seats have been used up. But for the many of our courses, including essentially all junior and senior level courses, we have them restricted to majors only during course requests and during the first 2 weeks of drop ad, right? So make sure that you get into those courses early. Also, don't expect to get into courses at the last minute. If you're trying to force out a course now and the course is full, it is unlikely that you're going to be able to get in unless you're in an extremely unusual situation. You really want to take advantage of early planning to make sure you get into the classes you need. Also, we've had some questions from students about, well, if we have classes that have moved online and there's no limit on the number of seats in the physical room associated with the class because it's not in a room, why can't we just add more students to it? And the real answer, that all of you need to remember is that really the class sizes that we have are limited by the staff we have available to grade your work, to hold office hours with you, to help you on assignments. All of those sorts of things require people on the department end spending hours working on your behalf to deliver the course. And that really, it's the limits of how many manpower hours we have for a given course that determines how many students we can support. We can't just add more students if we don't have the people available to grade their assignments or grade their tests. So definitely try to make a plan and act early to get into classes with the best odds. Now, to what Cal alluded to, he talked about new space that we're getting in a lot of places. One thing that I find pretty exciting and that hopefully a lot of you are excited about as well is that we're actually moving to the first floor of Torgerson. We're going to take over a significant amount of space in the first floor of Torgerson and move our department's main office from McBride Hall in McBride 114. We're going to move it over to the first floor of Torgerson and have a new undergraduate student services office located there. In addition, you all know the Undergraduate Learning Center that we have in McBride 106 and we are gaining a new second undergraduate learning center. Let's call it ULC2, on the first floor of tourism. It's going to be brand new remodeled space. We've thought a lot about the furniture and the way we can use it. And we're hoping everybody is excited about that because, we all know how crowded McBride 106 can get. And having a second space over in Tourism Hall to almost double the amount of space that we have available for the Undergrad Learning Center is definitely a welcome addition. And finally, we're planning to add a new tutoring center on the first floor of Tourism as well, that's going to service all of our classes. And we've been working with the Student Success Center to try to put something together. Some of you might work as undergrad TAs and have some ideas about how you could help. Others of you might have ideas about how you'd like to see the Undergrad Learning Center operate. Those are all things that we're interested in hearing feedback about. We're hoping for all of these to be opening the spring semester. We may begin moving various things over to Tourism Hall even earlier than that if we can get the space available. But look for these things to come in the spring. I did have a question about the Undergraduate Learning Center in chat. And the Undergraduate Learning Center in McBride Hall is going to start out closed this semester, as you can expect. However, as the semester progresses, we're going to see how things evolve with respect to the operations on campus, the way students are acting, the health and safety measures that the university has in place, and see if we can come up with a plan to possibly open that space at least for some limited hours later in the semester. We need to see how things are going first before we can get there. We know that space is very important for students, however, and it's very important to us as well. But we need to make sure things are operating smoothly before we can figure out the best way to open that space, or if it's even possible. So we'll see whether we can open that space up as we get into the semester, but to start, initially the Undergraduate Learning Center will be closed, right? Fortunately, because all TA office hours are going to be online, that particular issue will not affect your access for TAs. You'll still be able to have access to the same amount of TA office hours as you would have during a normal semester. And if anybody has any other questions about our move to Tourism, definitely ask in chat. Which brings me to my next slide, which is questions. What all do you want to know, or would you like to find out about regarding how things are going to operate in the fall, or questions you have about the department, questions you have for me or Cal? We've got a couple of the advisors here who have joined us as well, if you have questions for them. So ask away. While we're waiting for any questions, Cal, did you have any additional comments or clarifications you thought might be good to throw out?
Can show them a picture of the floor plan at Torgerson if you want me to. But no, I don't think so.
All right, while we're waiting, let's see. So we do have a question that came in on chat, which is how will classes be adjusted for those that are in quarantine? And the normal expectation is that students who are actually able to work, even if they are in quarantine, is that they're going to be able to continue their classes. Depending on the nature of the classes that you are in, if it is a class that meets in person or that has in-person meetings because it's a hybrid mode class, you're going to have to work with your instructor and let them know of your situation and that you will not be able to attend class, and work with them for accommodations to make sure that you're not going to miss anything while you are in quarantine and not able to go to class. Probably the more serious question is what might happen if someone actually becomes ill and is unable to work for an extended period of time. And again, that's the kind of thing you're going to want to notify your faculty member as soon as possible, and also make sure that you notify the university units, such as the Schiffer, the student clinic, Because if you are sick for an extended period of time and unable to do your classwork, you're going to need to work out a different kind of accommodations than you would if you're just in quarantine, right? So we're hoping that that does not happen to very many students, but if it does, make sure that you contact Schiffer. And depending on how long you're taken down by illness, the best way to resolve that might be different. We got another question in chat about the career fair. And yes, we are going to have a career fair this fall, but it will be completely virtual. So we're not going to cancel it or put it off. We are going to have a career fair both fall and spring. Right now, to the best of my understanding, I believe that Engineering Expo is going to be completely online, and our department career fair will also be completely online, but we are going to offer both of those to make sure students have access. All right, additional questions. And while I'm waiting for any of you to type in additional questions, I wanted to put on the screen this reminder to everybody about the College of Engineering scholarship process. It looks like maybe in recent years, a lot of students have not been applying for scholarships and the spring scholarship deadline, perhaps because they think, well, for example, in computer science, we're a huge department. We have a huge number of students, some of whom are academically amazing, right? You should be proud of yourselves. But many students don't apply for scholarships because they figure, well, I'm not going to get one because I don't have a 4.0. And I want to tell everybody, it's not just 4.0 students who get scholarships. So definitely when scholarship application season comes around each spring, I encourage all of you to apply, right? Apply for scholarships each spring, see what happens. We can't award scholarships to you if you don't apply. And from our career fairs, as many of you know, we have a number of corporate sponsors who provide money for scholarships to the department. And we want to help as many students as possible, but we can't give that money out if you don't apply. So that's just a reminder for everyone. If I saw all of our majors apply to the engineering scholarships each spring, I would be ecstatic. I think it'd be great. All right. And Tanisha just posted on chat for everyone the dates of the fall career fair virtual events. So those are in mid-September. You can see the dates in chat. Thank you, Tanisha. Any other questions from anyone at all? Oh, thank you, Cal. He mentioned in chat that there's news of new scholarships that are being created as we speak, generously endowed by some sponsors. Yeah, we want to make sure that students are eligible for those, and we can't consider you if you don't apply. So thank you, Cal. Any other questions?
Another thing I did want to add, it goes without saying, but it shouldn't go without saying. Don't be afraid to reach out. If you have questions or concerns or creative ideas, everybody on the panel here is eager to hear them. So you can find all of us in lots of different ways. And there's a lot going on in the department, but we get some really good suggestions from the students. So don't be afraid to reach out, or if you notice something, or if you have some thoughts, and just support one another. Like Dr. Edwards was talking about, this community thing is real, and we have an opportunity to be leaders and to set a good example and to care for the other folks in our community. So I'm excited to see how that plays out.
Yeah, thank you. I did see Virginia Tech listed on CNN today when they were talking about universities and how universities are dealing with the COVID-19 situation. But it was nice to see that the number of students who have tested positive here is dramatically lower than most universities that have made the news. That gives us some hope that our community is going to be able to hold itself together. So that's what we're hoping for and what we need to build on. All right, well, thank you, everyone. And if you have any other questions, like Cal said, you can send them to me or to your advisor, or even directly to Cal. and we'll make sure they get to the right person. And hopefully this helped at least, tell you a few things about how things are going to roll in the fall that will help you feel a little bit more comfortable with the start of the semester. I believe we're going to take a recording of this and post it on the department's YouTube channel so that people who weren't here tonight can watch it. But I really appreciate everybody who turned out. Thank you all very much.